and hello again to everyone who has come out to support the Neils and the Sims. We are so grateful for you all being so flexible. Why are we flexible? Because kingdom minded people, when things happen and things go awry or things are different and schedules are interrupted, we don't make excuses, we make adjustments. How about that? Right. And so I appreciate you all coming out tonight. It's not our regular Tuesday night live, but we had a schedule conflict. And so we're so grateful and thankful that our guest, the Sims, could make the change and meet us on tonight instead of Tuesday, because we want to stay within our weekly, bi-weekly program that we do. So we just want to give everybody a chance to share the link, share with others what we're that we're on. So we're going to give everybody just a couple of minutes. Go to your Facebook page or your YouTube page. I need you all to understand that Fred and I were trying to get our not so much Facebook, but take you all over to the YouTube platform. And so we need you to go to YouTube and type in the @ symbol at the Neil Appeal Show and subscribe, and then click your notifications button so that when we come on live, you'll be able to see and be able to join us so that you can be a part. I like to do the live because I just like the involvement of the live action, the live interaction. While these couples are sharing their stories, just the comment and to see the amount of support that you have behind you and the comments saying, hey, blessings, hey, praying, and all those things. I like that live interaction, right? While it's happening as you're talking, and it as an encouragement for you all. So again, we're going to give you just a couple more minutes. Everybody get your shares on, share. We on Facebook. It's Kelly Franklin Neil. That's another thing I got to get our, me and Fred got a Neil Appeal page, and we'll never be over there, So just trying to grow it right. As y'all know my story. The Lord gave this to me to bring this platform. So I don't know what I'm doing. Neither did Moses. Neither did y'all. Notice, y'all read your Bible. These people, we didn't know what we was doing. We just being obedient, right? And so I'm so grateful that y'all are bearing with us as we fight through all the technical difficulties and things like that, but we're getting much better. Y'all saw I put that intro on the top. We ain't been doing that. So we growing together in this, right? So again, we just so thankful for the Sims coming. This is a very sensitive, very delicate conversation we're going to have tonight, but I feel like I'm so grateful that God just downloaded it to me. Hey, I'm asking him, Lord, who do your people need to hear from next? What do they need to hear? And so I'm being guided from above, and I'm calling these people and they answering the call. So I appreciate the Sims being willing to share such a delicate topic for you and your entire family. Fred, you got anything you want to say?
No, not right off or whatever. It's nice to meet Lionel. I mean, I think I've met Kristen somewhere along the path of her mom singing and whatnot, what have you. But you look just like your mother. I mean, all of your daughters, you look just like her. And I'm just, like Kelly mentioned, we're just so grateful and thankful for you guys just taking time out of your schedules. And we know you have things that you have going on even today as we're speaking or what have you. And so we're trying to be respectful of that, while you guys are sharing some relative information to those that may be in the same situation as you guys are, and just trying to find a way out. So hopefully we can reach out to them and help them along the way.
Yeah, do y'all hear Ginger snore? This is great. Y'all, both of us got dogs. Y'all know we got Ginger and the Sims. They got 2 dogs. So if y'all hear some dog love going, just put some paws in the chat. Put some doggy paws in the chat when y'all hear our dogs just going crazy. But let's go ahead and get started. We want to respect the time. So Lionel, Lionel, Lionel. Come on, give it to me. Say your name, Lionel, for the people.
Lionel. Lionel.
Lionel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lionel.
Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore, so you got to excuse me because I be, we be
I
Lionel.
heard it in excuse me just now.
You guys excuse me. So anyway, Lionel, I was asking you before we came on, how did you do today? For those of you all don't know, Lionel is the preacher well, let me let them tell their story. So y'all go ahead on and start. Talk from wherever you want to start from, but just give us, we want to know how you met. And just tell us where y'all live and what y'all doing now. Go ahead. We shutting up.
Well, since you started me off, I mean, my name's Lionel Sims. I'm the minister of the Northside Church of Christ here in Riverside. The area in general where I'm from, being from California, her being from Texas, Oklahoma, I'll let her go ahead and tell you how we ran into each other. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Kristen. And yeah, I feel like we've kind of had a hit and miss type of run in, but we originally met at the National Youth Conference in Massachusetts in 2007. And I had saw him earlier in the week, and I had told my friends and my cousin, I was like trying to find him again. So, I'm trying to put myself in convenient places to just be there, but didn't work. And I didn't see him all week. Which now that I know Lionel, it makes perfect sense as to why I did not see him all week. But eventually we ran into each other on pageant night. He had just competed. And so we talked very briefly, and then we saw each other at Southwestern where we attended together. Didn't really talk very much there. And then later on when I went to ACU in Abilene and he was finishing up at Southwestern, that's when we actually connected. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. So, you said you was being found. You was Ruthin, but he Boaz.
I was trying to be where he was at, but he wasn't at any of the places where people were at. So, no shame. Had a little crush.
You know, Naomi told Ruth where to go. You know what I'm saying? Go through
so somebody should have told me.
You was listening to somebody.
Yeah,
that's why you were doing what you were doing.
Right.
You were raised well, because that's a lot of people's problem. They sitting there waiting on a man, waiting to be found. Go be found where the people finding that. You know what I'm saying? So, so y'all come on and share. So you've been married, how long now? And then when did you start trying to have children, add children to your family?
Oh, it'll be 10 years in July for us. July 25th, it'll be 10 years. And we went through the IVF process, in vitro fertilization, and we started going through that process in 2017, about I'd say late 2017. We started going through it. If you know of IVF, there's steps you have to take before the process physically begins. Going through interviews, meetings, searching out personnel. So there's a lot of paperwork and behind the scenes type stuff that you have to get together before going through the physical part. So we started that part in 2017. So about 2 years after we got married.
Nice. And Kristen, you shared your IVF experience, right? You were sharing out with that. Tell us about that.
So yes and no. I shared the infertility portion I've shared it before, but we did something with our ladies here at Northside within my first or second year, something like that. And so we just talked about infertility, IVF, but when we actually went through IVF, only a small group of people actually knew, because they recommend that you don't tell everyone, because if it doesn't work out, now you've got, more questions and confusion that can kind of be added to the process. So Yes, I've always been really open with my journey with infertility, which I found out at 19 that I couldn't have kids naturally. And so that was a conversation we had before becoming married of just, if we are able to go down this route, it'll have to be in this fashion. And so that's the route we went. Hundreds and hundreds of shots later, we were blessed with one embryo, which, if you know about the IVF process, you know that typically you get more whenever you're going through the process, so that you're able to kind of progress differently or not have to take so many steps in the next cycle. But we only had one embryo that was able to work. That one embryo ended up working out and allowing us to become pregnant. And then I don't know if you want me to skip to the part of when he was born, or you want me to
Go, just talk.
Oh, okay. And so that process was very exciting. And then at 24 weeks and 5 days, he decided he was tired of baking, I guess you want to call it. And so we had him very early. So he was a micro preemie. So we went through all of the difficulties with that process, spent 106 days in the NICU. And then we were able to bring him home for 3.5 months.
So 20, so we didn't have kids, as y'all know. We wanted them. We tried
And
Did-
tried. And tried.
and
But
try.
just-
I'm 50,
Yeah,
still
sorry.
trying.
Yeah,
No, but we wanted to have children, right? And I don't know the whole 52 weeks, I'm 42, I'm this, I'm that. So when you said 24 weeks, what's the full term again now?
Weeks, it's supposed to go to, dang, why you put me on the spot like that? 9 months is a full pregnancy. So
Yeah.
he was born around 4, I think, it's 40 weeks. So less than, no, I'm trying to think of the math behind it, but yeah.
So that's why you said micro preemie, because it was even small, sooner than a regular preemie, right?
Correct.
Wow.
So regular preemie can be born, within a certain time frame, and I'm not even sure exactly what the time frame is. But let's say you had your child 2 weeks early or 3 weeks early. While they may have to spend some time in the NICU just for a couple of things that may need to still be developed, when you have a micro preemie, it's a lot different because they really didn't have time to finish developing, and so it affects their organs and all that. So much more of a touch and go when you have a micro preemie.
Okay, so y'all were able to bring them home, and so pick back up from that point. So take us to what happened.
You want to go, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we brought him home. Like I said, when you leave the NICU, they tell you to be very careful as far as you making sure that you're keeping them away from germs, all that stuff. And so we did that. We were very careful, but he ended up getting sick, and it was the day of Father's Day. Was it Father's Day morning? I feel. Yeah, it was the morning of Father's Day, actually, where we rushed to the emergency room. And so we were there for a couple of days, but he developed pneumonia. So it just kept growing. And because his lungs were underdeveloped, he wasn't able to fight off the infection in the same way that another baby would have been able to.
Wow. So, that's tough. So just want to know, as far as support, and what how was your support system when he passed away? Like what was that like for you all? Because Lionel is the minister, like you all said, at the church. How were y'all able to grieve and still run this church? What was that like?
Well, to start, Northside. Northside is Northside is a different place, and they were a part of the process all the way through. Um, Everywhere from developing friends who had fertility issues. There were families that have always been supportive of us in every way, and so the pregnancy just emphasized it, kind of expanded that support, and there was already so much love throughout the process. That was where we, had our baby shower. That was where we were counting down the days with everybody because they were, in tune with us throughout the whole process. Exciting. It was our, of course, first child, so they were really looking forward to it. I think I was the minister there when I got married, so they were really invested, in us and loving us. And um, when he passed, I think that we wouldn't have been able to do it. I know we wouldn't have been able to do it had we not been at Northside, had we not had Northside, because they understood. I think they understood how heavy the burden was for us throughout the whole process, but also it's just their love and their care. Um, when he passed, I think they didn't ask me any questions about how long, if I was going to be gone. They didn't ask how long I was going to be gone. They didn't ask if I was coming back. They didn't ask any of those questions. It just every week they were just supportive, and they would just gave us whatever space we needed and made sure that we had space still at Northside at any given moment. So because even when we came back, we didn't come back. I think we started by maybe sneaking into my office for a few weeks without being seen, and then leaving before everybody got out, so they didn't even know we were there. So we were trying to eat our way into it, but throughout the whole process, they did nothing but make sure that we were supported and taken care of, and whatever space that we needed to get there, to get back, they gave us. And we're just, I mean, we would not have been able to fully enter into the grieving process had it not been for Northside, because they gave us the space and the opportunity to do it. And I think it started with them understanding.
Do y'all hear what he said? He said they didn't ask them no questions. No, when you come back to preach, when you this, when you that. Did y'all hear what he just said? That is awesome. Wow. That's
Any
so.
opportunity I get, I speak well of that because the process of grieving was just so much, and I of course would have had no idea, but we wouldn't have been able to even approach having an honest season of grief had we not had the space. And that's what Northside gave us, is that they allowed us to not have to answer any questions, and that was huge. That was big, and we thank them all the time for it.
Wow. So looking back on it now, when did you get the courage or enough strength to get back in the pulpit and preach again? Or when was your first standing before the congregation?
Well, immediately, right immediately after he passed, I preached the following Sunday, and that was, I think, just I had a lot built up. I had a lot in me that was just, unstable at the moment, and I just knew that I wanted to at least say thank you and express my heart to Northside, because they were, like I said, so much a part of the whole journey and the process, and they had been with us every step of the way. So I at least wanted to, I wanted to at least try to lift my head up and try to let them know that, we haven't given up on anything, and that we're, appreciative of their love and encouragement, because it's just that it was intentional, I guess, because I can't continue to tell people to praise God in hardship, in turmoil, in hard time, frustration, whatever, if I couldn't at least try to demonstrate it myself a little bit. But after that, I disappeared. I was gone. I didn't come back, not midweek, not Sunday, for maybe, I think, a little over 2 months. I think 2 months was it took before I started even just kind of showing up at the building again. And then maybe another few weeks before I actually preached again. And even coming back to preaching, because they understood kind of my emotion behind it. The first few weeks, I don't even remember what happened. They were kind of rough, at least for me. So I kind of stumbled back into preaching normally that way. I know I couldn't get off grief for a while, because I was, I had nothing else on my mind. So even easing into normal preaching schedule, they were patient in that process as well.
Mm.
Wow. Big ups to Northside.
Yeah, big ups to that church.
Always.
What they did and displayed, I mean, it's unheard of. I mean, I think, you obviously you guys you have a home of people that actually care about you. You know what I'm saying? You're a man just like I am, and of course, having the title of being a minister, you're looked at sometimes as being Superman, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, sweeping under the rug. Hey man, you got a job. Let's keep it moving, but that certainly obviously wasn't the case in you guys situation or what have you. So that's big ups to your church, and hopefully a lot of leadership churches, what I'm saying, to listen to this and can take note and know it and know how to support their young couple. You know what I mean? I mean, not only are you a couple, but you're a young couple and a preacher and a preacher's wife and things of that nature, what have you. So that's a lot on your plate, man. To speak a little bit, Lionel, we talk about in your preliminaries about you doing your son's funeral. Speak on that a little bit if you don't mind. I mean, you don't have to give all the details that we discuss or what have you, but I'm just trying to be respectful, and mindful.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have been able to forgive myself if I didn't do my son's eulogy. I think that's just I didn't exactly even know what I was feeling at the moment around that time. It was just because I didn't have the words really. I wasn't in any place to like present anything polished or preach in that regard, but it was my son's eulogy, and that's the only time that you'll ever have to do that. And I know that I was in a really dark place, but I don't think I would have been able to forgive myself if I didn't. So it's just whatever kind of it took to round up my feelings in that day, for that time slot. It had to be for him. It had to be, and I can overcome how I feel for him is how I felt about it anyway. So that's kind of what drove the need to stand in that spot at least.
Strength. Strength. You are my strength like no other. But you're absolutely right. You would be probably kicking yourself if you had let anyone else. Oh, wow. That is
it would have been more eloquent coming from somebody else in that moment, I'm positive. But it had to. I wasn't gonna if I do it, because I mean what I do, I speak in everybody else's eulogy. Like right. I was going to do his without question. So
wow. Wow. Kristen. Very emotional. I know it was for you to see your husband's strength. And, you're sitting in the audience with, the others. Anytime anybody has to sit on that front row, that is a devastating thing. We always talk of, or you always hear, the children are supposed to bury the parents, but you all are burying your child. To sit there and see your husband's strength up there like that. Give me those. What was going through your head?
I don't really know what was going through my head that day, to be honest with you. A lot of it is kind of a blur, but I mean, I do know that I don't know if I would have had the strength to do it. However, he was the only one who knew him in that way, because like I said, it wasn't something, even though we had a lot of support from people, they didn't really have a lot of personal interactions with him because we were trying to stay as safe as possible. So he's the only person who could have really spoke in that sense. But I think it was just that I was in shock, but also in awe, because even when Lionel did that, like, he kind of came back sooner to ministry than I did. So it was encouraging for me to see him do those things. So I think it just helped me to gain a new level of respect for him, because I don't even remember when I joined the praise team again, because I certainly didn't sing the Sunday that he preached. And when I came back, I still didn't go back into that ministry, because I just had to ask some questions. And I felt like if I was singing songs, but I was kind of having a contradiction within my mind of trying to figure out how they really applied and how the words were true, because I didn't want to sing songs like "It Is Well With My Soul," because it wasn't. So, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of helped me to gain a new level of respect for him, to see him be able to push through that. And it still does.
So with that being said, was there ever a point where you try to encourage him not to preach the eulogy, to not do that eulogy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Did I? I don't think so. Yeah.
It was kind of a done deal from the start. Once we realized it had to happen, there wasn't any asking questions about it from my end, and I knew that she probably wouldn't want anybody else to try it anyway.
But again, we had great support even with planning the services, because we said these were the things that we wanted, and then we kind of stepped back and everything was done down to finding venues and all of that. So our family was really intricate in that process, and then again our church family. But yeah, we really were able to just take our hands off, do what we could, and somehow the rest of it got put together. But I couldn't tell you any of those specifics of how it all kind of came to play.
Shout out to Mel, our friend Melanie Johnson. She was a godsend in that season. She, in grieving herself, she made sure that every detail was taken care of, as well as my sister and my mom. They were so helpful in putting the details of it together, because we were really in no, we were all but useless in that time. So they made everything happen around the services.
Yeah, and our families just worked really well together. So it wasn't like this family trying to do this family trying to do that. They must have had conversations somewhere along the way, but it was just all very seamless with how it all kind of came together. So always appreciative to them.
Of course, absolutely. You all are in the actual home, right? You're still, this is the same home, right? So how are you managing, still being in the same home? The memories are all there. Like, you hear both sides. Some people will say, I had to move out, I had to leave, it was too tough. Some people say, no, I had to stay because that's where he was. What are you doing to still honor your baby since you're still in the home? How are y'all navigating walking by the room?
Go ahead.
You said?
Yeah,
You supposed
go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, for me at least, I needed everything Leo around me. From the moment he was gone, I needed everything. I needed his proximity. I needed him close. I needed to see his stuff. I needed his clothes, his little playpen, like all of it. I needed everything that I could possibly as close by. So even still today, everything is set up as if he's here. We maybe moved a couple of pieces, but that's just literally house cleaning type stuff. And so we still, go in his room, his chairs still set up, the place where, we would sit, and things like that. And it's just keeping him as close as possible has been priority. So that's how we kind of, walked into keeping things the same way, not moving, not leaving. Yeah. I don't think it's been anything to where we're just like, we can never move again. It's just we never we never required ourselves to move anything. It's just it makes us both comfortable to have his stuff around. So yeah.
Wow. So back on the support and stuff, just curious, did you have a lot of people thinking they were helping, with the, how we say the things that we always say, trying to make a person feel better? Did you get a lot of that, or were people just like, you have no words almost, right? When this something like this happens to a baby, a young couple as yourself too, right? Did y'all get a lot of the, oh, I don't know why they think that's so helpful? How was that with people thinking they were helping, that it was actually the opposite?
I can say that I think it came from more people we didn't know as closely that those kind of comments came from. So, people try to be supportive, and they try to find the reason behind things, and then they just make up a reason like, oh, God must have wanted them, or those phrases are kind of just what people think make you feel better. And so I think we got that more from people that were not close to us. Of course, there were a few who were close to us that we had to kind of put up our boundaries of, what we were willing to talk about, when we were willing to talk, a lot of those things. So I think that with our closer friends and family, those are the conversations we had to have. Was just, we really just don't want to talk right now. So it's not that you're saying anything wrong. It's just, there are no words that can be said. And so this isn't a moment that we want you to kind of get us out of, because I think that's kind of the purpose. When people see someone hurting, your first go-to is, how can I make them feel better? And so I think we had a lot of that more from people we didn't know. But then again, we really weren't on social media. So we posted the announcement. So it came from us, and then it was off. So a lot of the comments that people made, we didn't see them until maybe a year later. I know some I didn't even see till years later, because we just weren't checking it. We knew the love and support was there, but I think that it was more so from people who didn't necessarily know us as much. But those phrases are, they're not helpful as they seem. So it's almost better to just send prayers than it is to actually try to say the right thing, because a lot of times you end up saying the wrong thing or making something up that's really not a true theology at all.
Right.
We've had people tell us, oh, you're going to have many more, because when he takes something, he gives this, and it's like, okay. So it's just kind of like you get a bunch of different things. But yeah, I'd say that we got that more from people that we weren't exactly close to, but I think they were trying to be supportive. It just didn't exactly help in those moments.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you now. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you and tell you, I was scared. I was scared to ask you when I had that conversation with you about coming on and sharing. I was scared, because I was like, Lord, you want me to ask this? I was so nervous. So what happened was, when we were in California, right, Lionel? We were at the Distinctly conference, and as you were speaking, and that's not my first time hearing you speak. Yeah, you're a great speaker. Love how you just dissect that word and get down into it. Young preacher dissecting the word like you do. And I was listening to you. I was so into you. I was so into what you were saying. I wasn't thinking about the Neil appeal, who's next or whatever. I was so focused on you. And then it came in my spirit. It was like he said, yeah, go to him afterwards. And so I came up to you, and I asked you about how do you think. I came to you first. I asked you, I said, how is Kristen? Like, are y'all ready to share and talk about this, right? And so I remember feeling really, really bad after I walked off from talking to you. Like it hit me, it dawned on me that I came up to you and I asked you how Kristen was, right? Because we always, the mothers are so close. It's always the mother, right? And I was like, I felt so bad. And I called Terry and I was like, Terry, I need Lionel's number. I called Stephanie. I was like, I need Lionel's number. I got to call and apologize to him. I got to call and apologize to him, because the whole thing was I was so worried about Kristen and the father standing right here. You are the father. And I didn't even say, how are you? And I felt so bad about that, right? And so Terry, she was like, oh, that's honorable. I'm sure he'll be fine. And so I just, when I called Kristen, listen, I was a nervous wreck. I was just being obedient. And because the Lord said, this is, if y'all say yes, if y'all will do it, because y'all are not the only ones this happened to, right? And so to see this young couple still be able to profess that God is good, right? And still be able to go on, even in your grief, you're still going on in your lives and not letting this get you. So my question is, I said all that to say, and then I finally got to Kristen and she was like, oh yeah, I appreciate that. And so I just wanted to make sure Lionel understood I didn't mean to be insensitive and not ask you how you were doing, because we're always so, worried about the mothers, but there are some fathers that are out here and care about their kids too, right? And so how did you get to the point where you were ready to say yes to me, calling and saying, hey, are y'all ready to talk about this? How did you get to that point that you were, how did you get to that point where you're saying, okay, we can talk about it? Or are you really not to the point of you just being obedient too? I mean, I don't know, right? How did y'all get there? And give me some support that for other couples that are going through this, and may think they can't make it through this. What would you say to them? Maybe what you answer will be the answer to that.
Well, let me first start by saying how much because when we saw each other distinctly, and you asked, let me say how much I appreciate you asking about Kristen specifically, because that. Because people ask me when I'm out about her all the time, like it is, when you get married, it's a package deal. People care about you, people care about your spouse, and that's the things. Like, I care about my spouse, so when people ask me about her, then it bodes really well with me, because I appreciate your care for her and your concern for her. So yeah, no, I appreciate it 100%, because just like that, like, she's in that sense, I want to be sure that she's good too. I want to be some influence in her doing better, as well as other people. So I didn't take it as insensitive at all. I truly appreciate it. You asking about her, because it does help me when she's cared for, so but yeah, you want to answer the next one?
Man, now I was listening to you, but I think for me, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you called, my initial thought was no. I was like, let me see what is the best way to say no. And so then I was like, oh, I know. I'll tell her I'll think about it. Then I'll ask Lionel, and Lionel's gonna say no. And so then I'll tell her, we're just not gonna be able to do this. So that was my plan. And then he was like, yeah, no, we can do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I had to really take it into consideration. And then I had to pray about it, because I was like, am I ready to do it? Because I don't like crying in front of people, but I'm like, I know my voice is going to get shaky here and there. So I was like, I don't know. But when he didn't kind of give me that out, I was like, you know what? I can try it. The worst that can happen is we cut the live short, because it doesn't work out. So yeah, it's definitely something that I had to lean into the spirit and go that route, because my initial thought was absolutely not. But he didn't do what he normally does, so he kind of messed us up. He didn't understand. We've been with, that's my out. But it was a good thing that we said yes. So and then what was the second part of your question?
What did I say?
I forget.
How did you get to be able to talk to us? Oh, and what would you share with the couples that may be experiencing this and feel like they can't get through it? Like there are couples that separate because the wife or the husband is grieving so badly. Like one of the widows last week said when her father passed away, her mom just shut down when she was 13, and her mom just shut down on her, and it was just like, and then later on her husband passed away when her kids were 13, and so that gave her the strength and courage to make sure that she didn't shut down on them, right? And so there are divorces that happen because of situations like this, right? So what encouraging word would you have to say for a couple that may have experienced this, or something?
I mean, each couple is different. So I think that people are going to kind of go about it in the way that they go about it. For us, me being more extroverted, it and him being more introverted, it kind of was something to where I was able to enter into that introverted space, and that became a safe space for me, because I knew I didn't have to talk. I knew I didn't have to say the right things. I knew I could say the dark things that were in my mind or not say them, and we were going to be fine. So for us, I think it was something that for the first time kind of put us on equal playing fields, to where I was like, okay, there are no, you're like this, I'm like that. We just kind of both went inward and just allowed each other to be. So I don't know if I'd say it's advice, but that's kind of how we got through it, is we didn't put extra pressure on each other about timelines. We didn't try to force conversations. We didn't try to hide conversations when we're thinking of him. It really was, we just let each other be. So if we were in separate rooms, cool. If we weren't, cool. But that's what I think worked for us, was allowing each other to have whatever emotions that we were going to have and not try to alter them. So yeah, I think that would be my advice, is you got to kind of ride with it, through it together. If you try to do it by yourself, I don't think I would have made it, because I know my personal prayers was I didn't want to keep going from day to day. So I was like, every time I wake up, I'm like, golly, we here again. So it was just a dark space. And I don't think that everybody would have been able to handle that darkness in the same way without trying to cover it with the scripture or with something else. It was just, yeah, me too. And that was that. So I don't know.
So you all, how is it changing your outlook on parenthood? Are you trying again? Is that something that's in the future for you all, or how are you navigating through figuring out if that's what you want to do or not?
Okay, I'll answer. So we do want to have kids again, but a few years ago, we went through a campaign where we were raising money for IVF, because if you're unfamiliar with the process, it can run you $30,000 and up. And so it's a very expensive process. We were still paying off the loans from the first process with our son. And so we decided to just be vulnerable and kind of open up and see what we would be able to do with that. So we started a campaign called Legendary Hope, where the intention was to raise money to put towards doing IVF again. And so we went through that journey. We got so much support. We actually raised the full amount. So that was beyond us, because we didn't think that would be possible. And so we went through the IVF process. We went through 5 different cycles. And so 5 different times the results were the same. It just didn't work out. So For us now, we're kind of going to our other option, which was adoption. But again, that's a whole new world we have to learn as far as agencies, this, that, and the third. So when we're ready to take those steps, then we'll kind of walk down that pathway. But yeah, so we've tried again through IVF and kind of weren't happy with the outcome, but it is what it is. And so now we're preparing for a different type of parenting.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's take a pause. Let's go check out the chat and let's get some encouragement going here. We have Felicia. Hey, that's your cousin. Hey, cousin. It says, love you, cousins. Joyce McCrae says, hi, you guys. Barbara Jordan, my preacher and first lady. Pause for a minute. You wanted to marry a preacher, Kristen?
No. I did not. And looking at him, I didn't think he was going to be a preacher either. So we're just full of surprises. But no, being a preacher's kid, I was like, yeah, let's not go down that route. That's a lot. And I didn't want to be the first lady of anybody's congregation because I was like, there's just things that I'm like, I don't think will really mesh well with the congregation. And so, yeah, I was kind of opposed to it. And here we are. So.
Okay, let's get back to the comments. Terry Mays, that's my girl. She says, I'll take that compliment, Fred. My babies are beautiful. So you just complimented me by saying my babies look like me. Annie says, my minister and first lady, Annie Mays.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Y'all
These are a lot of our north side people.
Yeah.
See, we love them.
See there, look at that. Joyce McCrae, you go, girl. Second, love. Adriana Clark says, love you guys. Thank you. They trying to help me. They said 40 weeks is full term. Come on, Kelly, get it together. He was born at 6 months. That was okay. Love you guys, Barbara Jordan. We all were devastated. That's Joyce McCrae. We are Northside Strong. That's Barbara Jordan. Annie says, a wonderful chat. Truly amazing. Adriana says, thanks for being courageous enough to share your story with the world. Maxine Cooper says, we love you both. Northside was amazing. Praise God for them. Yeah, because your mom was up there for a minute, right, Kristen?
They came after, yeah.
They had relocated they were living in California they came after you're saying they moved after he passed to help out. They weren't moving for work. They came, when they moved to California? Come on.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I don't know if they were necessarily thinking about relocating prior to that. And I mean, my mom may chime in the chats, but it just kind of happened. And then my dad was able to get an opportunity out here. And so next thing you know, they were here. So it was good to have them here throughout that process for the years that they were here. But yeah, that didn't happen until after he passed.
Wow. Wow. That's good support. And Lionel, your family is where?
From here. I was born and raised here in Southern California. So I'm here.
Okay. Let's get a couple more comments and then we're going to get back to y'all right quick. Let's see. They are an awesome couple. The one lady just keep posting. She just keep coming back saying it over and over again.
Joyce.
Listen, she has. Y'all got to meet her in person. She has a really distinct shout, and so if I'm traveling locally and she shows up, she's so supportive of us all the way through. So we love Joyce. We love you. So we thank you for tapping in always.
Good stuff.
And Miss Annie in here too about 45 times.
They don't play about us. Those the ones that you see in the chat. They do not they love us, and we love them so much. They are they really do hold us. They hold us down so much.
We love that. Y'all need that. Y'all need that. Really.
Mhm.
We all need that. Let's see. We are Northside. We love Lionel and Kristen. We are one great family, and we appreciate them so much. I thought I saw your auntie. It must be in the other chat.
Oh,
Uh,
where it said Stephanie and had the heart.
didn't I see her? Oh, I think maybe she in the Facebook one. But so this chat, wow, this is blowing up. Tiffany Tunsil says, "You are such a blessing. Thank you for the bravery and sharing your story. Praying for you all as your journey, praying for you all as you journey to parenthood." Lionel said, "If you can't say God is good all the time, you can't say God is good all the time." Song in the making. That's from Terry. She writing songs right now. So, Terry's answering us. She said, "We moved specifically to be with them. God just opened the door for jobs." Come on, mama.
There
I
you
know
have
that's
it.
right. Yes, that's something. They picked up and moved cross country to be with y'all during that time. So
Yeah.
wow, that is so appreciative. And here's Auntie right here. Stephanie says, "We will always remember Leo Legend Sims."
Mm.
Oh, that's so sweet. And then Michelle here, Michelle Glass. She says,
Yeah.
"I have such a love and understanding for this family and their journey." And she got hashtag Leo the legend continues. Um, and Crystal Jordan, I love y'all. Still praying for you. We got so many watching. Y'all listen, y'all have blessed me today. I am truly blessed just with your courage, your honesty. Kristen, you were like me. Like, I don't know. Our stories are similar when I told you about when I
Mhm.
started off telling y'all, me and God, I was riding down the street and I asked God, what am I supposed to be doing? And I said, well, I know when I get home, but Fred ain't going to do it. I was so mad when he said the same thing Lionel said. I was so mad because I didn't want to do it. And it's tough calling people and, you know, trying to get them to share, and it's all for community, just trying to have a safe space, a platform where we got real life stuff going on that is not being talked about in the church, is not being talked about in places. It's so taboo stuff, and people need to share and show I'm not the only one. This is what I'm going through. This is what I felt. And so my final question, your faith, you all, like Lionel said, I appreciate you all saying you had to step away. Um, you had to step away. Your faith during that time of the step away. Um, what help me? And like you said, everybody's different, Kristen. So couples will respond differently, but I'm asking you, what did you do? Because sometimes it's a light bulb moment that comes through somebody else living out things, right? So was your faith, you, Lionel, as the preacher, and this happens to the preacher, right? We put y'all on a pedestal or whatever. And so now we all eyes on you. How you gonna react? How you gonna do? Was your faith affected? Did you have angry moments? The why us Lord moments. Did y'all go through that cycle?
Hmm. You want to start? Or?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No. I try to jump off. I try to jump off the whatever pedestal they try to put me on at any time. It's just if I'm ever expected to be superhuman in any capacity, I try to hop off of it. Just because I need that space. I need the space to be human, and I feel like leaning into it is setting yourself up because I had to go through all of it in this process. I think everybody is in some conflict, not conflict, but everybody is always um, in contemplation of their faith in some way or shape or form. And I think this forced me, it required that I go through all of it, that I re-examine all of it, I that I didn't have any more space to hold back about re-examining my faith. I didn't have the capacity to lie to myself about my faith. I didn't have the energy to try to regurgitate answers to myself, to repeat cliches. If it wasn't authentic to my soul, then I couldn't walk with it, because I've always walked. I do what I can to walk in genuineness with God. And I think that this just required that I was honest about where I was. And to your question directly, it's just, I think the statement that kind of settled in my mind and stayed in my mind, the statement, I guess, was, and what kind of, I don't know, it kind of anchored my anger when I just reminded myself, like, God, with everything that's happening in the world, you could have you could have let him live. You could have, and we would have been just fine. Whatever divine plan or purpose that anybody thinks you might have had, the world would have kept spinning if you would have let me have my son. And I just couldn't get past that. And that opened doors to me asking, not questions, but asking myself where I stood with God and whether or not I could approach God honestly. So there was a big pause where I had to not stop, but I had to approach God in genuineness. And if I didn't have it in me to pray, I didn't. If I didn't have it in me to answer a question about God, I didn't. I didn't force myself on any belief system. I had to pretty much work on deconstructing from there, because it was kind of not shattering what I knew about God, but it was stripping it down to the bare bones. You know, you ask yourself in situations like that, what is it that you truly believe? Because platitudes, false narratives, cliches, they're not going to get you through it.
Right.
You know what you're trying to tell yourself to make yourself feel better, and then you know what you believe. And the things that I believed were now being re-examined, not because I didn't believe them anymore, but because that was all I would have to lean on, is what I believed. And I believed in God. I had to be truthful and say I don't believe in God in the same way that I did, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Kristen, come on.
Yes, it definitely affected my faith. I think for me, it was the first time that I had really had to be honest with God. I think before, my theology was kind of set up. If you're obedient, you do these things, you try your best to walk in step, that good things come from that. Doesn't mean that you can't experience any bad, but that's kind of where my theology was, and I didn't know it was really there. But I think that for me, it caused me to stop and really express how I was feeling. So even like tracing it back to when I was 19 and found out I couldn't have kids, I tried to still keep a positive attitude. And I was like, okay, God can still have miracles, whatever. And so I always tried to find a way to make it better, if that makes sense. And this time that didn't work. And so when that didn't work, I really had to have honest conversations with God. And I've explained it before of it's like we were in the same room and I was like, God, you can stay in the room, but I need you to stay over there. Like right now, we just can't have those conversations because I'm not ready for it. I know things to my core, and I'm going to try not to cry. Give me a second. The last few minutes. It was like, I still believe that God was good, but I didn't believe that this was good. So to try to, I guess, put those two together is where I feel like I had to struggle the most in my faith, because it didn't add up. It was like, if you know I can't have any more, you know there was only one embryo, all these things, why did it have to go this route? And so I think for me, it was kind of like a process of allowing God to get closer in the room. So then it was, okay, you can pull up a chair, be about halfway, but I'll speak to you when I'm ready. And then it just kind of progressed over time to where it was like, all right, come on, sit down, let's have a conversation. But it's going to be an honest conversation. It's never going to be something, it will never be something where I'll say that I'm happy with what happened here or anything. But just learning how to accept that his will is different than mine, and that he is still good, even though I don't believe this thing was particularly good. So it changed a lot about my theology, and really just being able to see how much I was hiding from God and how much I was kind of trying to cushion the relationship in a way that felt best for me. And so it was kind of that realization of, okay, this is a real thing. And no matter what, you can go through ups, you can go through downs, but at the end of the day, it was kind of like, all right, but where am I going to go? Like, that I'm here, so where am I going to go? But yeah, it was definitely a battle. So we're in the same room again. We talk regularly, but it's just something that I have to constantly evaluate my faith to see when I have those hard questions that kind of seem like they contradict, whether it's suffering, seeing things on the news. It's kind of like, okay, I can't just push it to the back of my mind and give myself an easy out. Like, we got to deal with what is this? And even if I don't get an answer from it, being able to express that and have that genuine relationship was just something that I'm grateful for in that sense. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your transparency, y'all. Transparency is important. It helps bring about transformation. You know, when you can expose the thing, when you can say it and have, because I mean, God knows what you're feeling and thinking anyway, right? And so when you can open up, you know, like Job, you know, when you can expose the thing, that's when he begins to work on healing that heart, because he sees it and knows it anyway. We're going to be respectful tonight. Y'all have been a blessing tonight. And Kristen, we made it. You made it. You made it. You made it. We're going to be respectful, and it's time. I think we've gotten you all to share out enough that will help someone else out. Is there anything, I want to give you this opportunity right now. Is there anything you would like to express or share, anything that we didn't talk about or didn't ask from, is there anything else before we close out? Maybe that you want to, is there some resources or something y'all are getting help from, or providing resources for others that may be going through? Anything y'all want to share? You got a book, you got a podcast, you got anything you want to share before we close out?
I don't think so, but I would say though that if you find yourself in a situation, when you find yourself in a situation where you lose someone that is kind of, it shakes you to that level, as far as people that are supporting, just really being able to allow people to be where they are, and knowing that God can still work through each of those phases. And so allow people to grieve, and don't feel like you have to fix the situation, because we had, like I said, a strong support system that did just that. And I know even for my family, it was hard for them because they had to adjust. I'm normally pretty bubbly, joking, and they didn't see that. And they had to be okay with that for years, if I'm being honest. And same with our church family, letting us kind of go through what we needed to go through in order to come out the way we needed to come out. So yeah, that would just be my advice, is if you are the person trying to support someone, the best support you can give is to listen when they want you to listen and give them space when they've asked for space, because that's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember you trying to send a text every day, even though it may be encouraging. They're going to turn their phones off. They just want to know that they have people that love them, and that doesn't always have to be so upfront in how you do that. So yeah, that's all I got.
That was good, Kristen. Lionel, any final thoughts?
I can only echo what she said. Yeah, get you a wife that gives you the space too. Yeah, she's when she's the only person that understands. That's you got to have room, because you don't know where grief is going to take you, and you have to let it. So I appreciate you guys, both of you guys, for creating a space like this for transparency. You know, I know you do it across the board with different couples, different subjects and all that. So thank you guys for providing a space where we can, you know, share, where we can have serious thought and conversation about things that are important and that hurt. So
thank you so much. We're gonna close out. It's a couple of new. I just want to read a couple more chat things, and then we're gonna let y'all go. All right. I saw some new people, so I just wanted to. We got Jerry McKenzie, Leo, always in my heart. That's who?
That's my mom.
Oh,
yeah, that's his grandma.
Oh, hey, Sister Jerry. Wow. Tammy Cormel, my amazing minister, and yes, ma'am, First Lady, aka The Gifts, the most inspiring couple. Their leadership is incredible. You can't have a great flock without the shepherd being great. Love you. Y'all, listen, I don't even read comments this much, but I feel like I'm at Northside. Y'all,
hey, you gotta come visit.
Listen, I just wanted to read some more, because I know, like y'all started off with, they were just for y'all, and they all in this chat showing it. So just indulge me right here. Give me a couple more. So Joyce McCrae says, this is my very first podcast, and I love this for them. And she says, yes, that's why we love him. Jerry again says, I'm so proud and in awe of Lionel and Kristen. I'm very proud of you all. That's Desiree. I know that. Hey, Desiree. That's my sister. Huh?
Yeah, that's my sister, the oldest.
Yep. And then Denise Duke says, y'all are so awesome. Love you guys. And then Mom comes back. Terry says, transparency brings about transformation. Love that, Kelly. Oh, that was for me. Thanks, Terry. Transparency helps in the healing process. That's Jerry McKenzie. And then, yes, that was so hard to see you guys go through that. So just some more encouragement. Heather, they keep coming out the wood. We got to end. We got to go, y'all. They coming out the woodwork. We love y'all. Y'all heard Kristen and Lionel concurred. They shared. We always end the show with the Neil's appeal. Y'all heard what she said. Give the people their space, right? We got the Neil's appeal for the end of this podcast. Y'all work on not trying to always say the thing, right? Just give the people the space. Pray for them. Pray for them. You know, hey, I just want to listen. I'm here to listen. You don't have nothing to say. You can't fix nothing. Nobody can fix nothing, right? So, Fred, you got anything else?
No, I know time's been well spent and what have you. And once again, we like to thank you guys for pouring out your hearts. You know, to those that you know may be under the same predicament, what have you. It just goes to show you that you guys are living examples of God won't put on you more than you can bear, and even when you can't bear it, you know, or understand it, you can always lean on Him. You don't owe it to anybody but yourselves and God. So you know, my love, my heart goes out to you guys.
Thank y'all so much. Don't forget, everybody go on here. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Catch us on our next. We'll keep y'all posted for the next podcast that we have going on. We love y'all. Y'all put some fire in this chat. Y'all thank this wonderful, lovely couple for their bravery, for their courage, and for their strength. And y'all keep them in prayer. Y'all good? We love y'all. Good night.
Love you.
Night.
Thank you.
Oh, I did. You're like,